Why would an aging submarine nearing retirement after nearly 30 years of service suddenly be retrofitted with a modern vertical launch system? What strategic foresight does this seemingly counterintuitive move reveal about the Chinese Navy? Recently circulating online footage of a Type 039 basic model submarine is indeed astonishing. This vessel, commissioned in 1996 and now 29 years old, prominently displays 2 rows of vertical launch cells installed at its stern. As the sole survivor of the Type 039 series, it has witnessed China's arduous journey from following others to achieving independent innovation in conventional submarines. Now, nearing retirement, it has not quietly faded into history but instead re-emerged in the public eye with a new role. The strategic considerations and tactical implications behind this move warrant deeper analysis. To understand this phenomenon, we must revisit the developmental trajectory of the Type 039 submarine. During the 1960s and 1970s, China's conventional submarines were primarily the Type 033 and Type 035, both bearing distinct Soviet characteristics and lagging significantly behind contemporary European conventional submarines in technology. Entering the 1990s, China resolved to break free from Soviet design philosophies and began developing the Type 039 submarine. Incorporating the technological foundations of European nations like France and Italy, it became China's second-generation conventional submarine designed and built independently. However, China's submarine technology base was weak at the time, with many key technologies not yet fully mature. Consequently, only one basic Type 039 submarine was built, entering service in 1996 as a product of technological exploration. This sole basic type submarine featured a distinctive stepped conning tower casing, which caused irregular swaying during high-speed underwater navigation. This issue led to the subsequent production plan being halted. Following the Type 039 basic variant, China developed successive improved models including the Type 039G, Type 039A-B, and Type 039C, progressively resolving the issues of the basic variant and achieving batch production. The most significant improvement in the Type 039G was replacing the two-stage conning tower with an integrated conning tower, eliminating stability problems and making it more suitable for high-speed underwater navigation. Notably, the Type 039B incorporated an IIP system, dramatically extending its underwater endurance from days to 2 to 3 weeks. The newly unveiled Type 039C features an integrated mast, advanced sonar systems, and a distinctive stealth hull design nicknamed the Mushroom Head by military enthusiasts, establishing it as the most advanced conventional submarine currently in service with the Chinese Navy. Meanwhile, during the developmental phase of China's indigenous Type 039 series, the nation imported 12 kilo-class submarines from Russia. These ocean black holes, renowned for their exceptional stealth capabilities, served as the backbone of the Navy's conventional submarine warfare capabilities at the time. Looking back at this sole Type 039 basic variant, it has served for 29 years, approaching the average 25 to 30-year service life of conventional submarines, and should logically be nearing retirement. So why retrofit it with a vertical launch system now? From a cost-benefit perspective, extensively modifying an aging vessel nearing retirement is uneconomical. Mid-life upgrades for conventional submarines typically cost about 40% of new construction expenses. Moreover, with a displacement of just over 2,000 tons, this submarine has limited internal space. Installing a VLS would require significant compartment layout modifications, presenting complex technical challenges with limited practical combat value. The most plausible explanation is that this submarine has been withdrawn from active service and repurposed as a test platform. This practice is not uncommon among navies worldwide. China previously operated the Type 032 test submarine, specifically designed for testing the JL series ballistic missiles and CJ cruise missiles. Converting older equipment into test platforms allows for low-cost validation of new technologies, while avoiding the risks associated with deploying untested systems on frontline combat vessels. Equipping conventional submarines with vertical launch systems represents a new global trend in naval development. Traditionally, submarines launched missiles primarily through 533mm torpedo tubes in the bow. While this method offered relative stealth, it was slow and incapable of delivering concentrated firepower. The advent of vertical launch systems has fundamentally transformed this capability. In recent years, both the U.S. Virginia-class and Russia's Yasenim-class attack submarines have been equipped with vertical launch systems. Notably, this trend has now extended to conventional submarines, with South Korea's Doosan-class, and Israel's Dakar-class conventional submarines beginning to install VLS systems. Vertical launch systems enable submarines to fire missiles rapidly, akin to a machine gun, significantly enhancing strike efficiency. Compared to traditional torpedo tube launches, they offer a firing rate advantage of more than one order of magnitude. Of course, VLS also has drawbacks, such as making it easier to expose the submarine's position during launch. However, this can be mitigated through tactical systems and cover from other forces. For the Chinese Navy, testing VLS on conventional submarines holds particular significance. China's conventional submarines typically operate in relatively shallow waters, like the East China Sea and Yellow Sea. Conducting strike missions via submerged missile launches in these areas would grant them greater stealth and lethality than surface vessels. However, the limited internal space of conventional submarines presents numerous technical challenges for VLS installation, including layout, ballast management, and vibration control during launches. Selecting the older Type 039 submarine for experimentation allows for preliminary validation of technical solutions, identification of potential issues, and accumulation of valuable experience for subsequent new submarine development. Technically, submarine vertical launch systems employ either cold launch or hot launch methods. Cold launch employs compressed air or high-pressure gas to eject the missile from its tube, with ignition occurring in flight. This method originated on ballistic missile submarines, where the immense weight of ballistic missiles, coupled with the high thrust and temperature of booster rocket gases, made hot launch too hazardous for the submarine's structure. Hot launch, where the missile relies on its own propulsion to depart the tube, necessitates solutions for venting the intense exhaust gases. During its development of VLS technology, China studied both Soviet cold launch and American hot launch systems. Ultimately, it innovatively introduced a universal VLS system featuring a concentric circular module design. The annular passage between the inner and outer tubes can function as a vent channel for hot launch or accommodate a lifting rod mechanism for cold launch. This universal design significantly enhances the system's adaptability and flexibility, making it a likely candidate for future conventional submarines. From a broader perspective, the retrofitting of the VLS system on the Type 039 submarine reflects a major shift in the Chinese Navy's operational doctrine. Historically, submarine missile launches risked positional exposure and were considered high-risk maneuvers. However, modern warfare has long moved beyond isolated operations. Through joint operations with other military branches, submarines can deliver lethal strikes beyond the reach of enemy anti-submarine aircraft. For instance, the J-15T carrier-based fighter boasts an operational radius of 1,500 kilometers, capable of carrying anti-radiation missiles and anti-submarine torpedoes. This effectively blocks enemy anti-submarine aircraft, providing aerial cover for submarines. From an international perspective, the retrofitting of older Type 039 submarines also responds to intensifying maritime competition, particularly military activities near the Second Island chain. As tensions escalate in this region, China's conventional submarines equipped with vertical launch systems could integrate into joint strike networks with other platforms. This capability would enable long-range saturation attacks against enemy vessels, significantly enhancing China's maritime combat prowess. Reviewing China's submarine development journey, from the initial Soviet-designed Type 033 and Type 035 submarines to the indigenous innovation of the Type 039, followed by the introduction of Russian Kilo-class submarines to fill capability gaps, and culminating in the continuous iteration and upgrades of the Type 039 series, reveals the arduous path of Chinese submarine technology, from catching up to keeping pace, and now preparing to lead. The retrofitting of a VLS system onto this 29-year-old Type 039 basic model submarine before its decommissioning may appear unconventional, but it represents a carefully considered strategic choice. This allows the aging platform to deliver its final strategic value before retirement while providing a testing ground for VLS systems on next-generation submarines, a low-cost, high-efficiency technological investment. Looking ahead, if new conventional submarines successfully integrate VLS alongside automation and acoustic stealth technologies, and develop integrated combat capabilities with carrier-based aircraft and surface vessels, China's conventional submarine fleet will achieve a qualitative leap in combat effectiveness.